This program is presented by Drake University on iTunes U, a service of the Drake Telemedia Center.
My name is Mahmoud Hamad. I teach international relations here at Drake, mainly courses related to the Middle East, Islam, and the courts. Before coming to Drake, I taught at Cairo University, the University of Utah, and BYU. But this event is about something bigger. It's about what it means to be an American Muslim. This is a timely, interesting, and stimulating topic that I hope you are going to enjoy and learn today. Not very many academic discussions focus on such a significant topic in Iowa or all over the United States. I'm hoping today we will engage in a stimulating but civilized discussion about American Muslims and their life in the great nations of ours. I think I spoke on behalf of the panelists and everyone here when I say we are thankful for Stan Richards for his support and generosity organizing this event. Stan is an Iowa native, one of the leaders of the business community in Iowa, a leader of the Jewish community, and Stan sits on the board of many organizations here in Iowa, including the YMCA, the University of Iowa Law Foundation, the Moines Symphony, and many, many more. Without taking too much time of the panel or yours, let me state some ground rules that I sent to the panelists a few days ago. First, I asked our panelists to describe the advantages and disadvantages, the opportunities and challenges of being an American Muslim, of being a Muslim in America in the 21st century. This is the main topic of our discussion, and I asked the participants to try to stick to it as much as they can. As this event is held here at Drake, the flagship academic institution of Iowa, we are required and encouraged to respect the academic tradition. So I asked the panelists and everyone in the audience to refrain from making any inflammatory remarks or any assertions not based in reliable scientific research. Second, the format. I asked the panelists to speak for about 7 minutes each, and I'm going to enforce time limits. I have here my 1 minute sign. After each panelist delivers his introductory speech, we are going to take 5 questions for each panelist, and then I'm going to allow each panelist another 7 minutes to respond to the questions. In the end, if we have time, we'll have open discussion and dialogue. I'm asking everyone in the audience who would like to present a question to try to be precise, straightforward, and take no more than 1 minute of the forum time. Thirdly, I'm asking everyone to try to turn off their cell phones or put it on silent. Without further ado, it's my privilege to present our first panelist today, an Iowan, Dr. Saima Zafar, is a physician who specializes in cardiology. Saima moved to Iowa in 1997, beginning practice with the Iowa Health Center. She was recently named the 2011 President-elect of the Association of Physicians of Pakistani Descent in North America. And you can't count how many of those. Saima is a founding member of Iowa Health Cardiology, and she is currently serving on the Iowa Board of Ethics and Campaign Disclosure. Saima, you have the floor. 7 minutes.
Thank you very much, Hamad. I'm actually going to stand up because I think that that gives respect to the audience, and I'm grateful to you all to come here and participate in this interesting discussion. Can you hear me? I was asked to represent the Muslim woman in the United States, and here I am to do so. I am not an Islamic scholar, so I can only give you my perspective of living in this country as a Muslim woman. When I moved to the United States about 21 and a half years ago, I came with the thinking and the understanding that was given to me as I was raised, that when you move to a land, you develop the patriotism and the allegiance to that land as if it is your own, just like you do when you move to your husband's household. And that's what I did, and that's what I've always propagated in my family and my friends and my children living in the United States. Coming to the advantages of being a Muslim woman in the United States. The rights of women in Islam came about in Islam when it was brought about in this world over 1,400 years ago. At the time, the world of ignorance was there. Women were being, little girls when they were born, they were buried. Women were used as object of desire. And that's when one of the things in Islam was to give rights to women. When I moved to the United States, it was interesting for me to see that those rights were actually given to us by the Equal Opportunity Act, by the Equal Pay Act, by the affirmative action, and also by the other laws where women were protected and given a fair and equal chance. So I thought that it was interesting that these are the recommendations given to be by my religion, but are implemented in this country. The right to vote is one of the rights that was given to Muslim women, and the right to vote in the United States came about in 1920. So, it was there. The only thing is, was it implemented or not implemented? That was up to the people to follow that. If you look at the rights are equal rights, not identical rights. If you look at the law in this country, it doesn't say identical right for women or identical right for men. So coming about that, we see the same thing. There's a difference between equality and being identical. Other cultures and other societies which have a majority of people of the Islamic religion may not clearly follow these equal or these rights that are supposed to be there. They simply follow this through their own convenience, through their own societies and through their own cultures, and they can interpret it whatever way they want. So coming back to the United States, I felt that this was a great advantage for me. Disadvantages. The disadvantages I felt was that, unfortunately, there's a lot of stereotypical thinking. When people realize that I'm from Pakistan, for a moment they're surprised. They want to know that whether I was born and raised here, and I wasn't born and raised here. I've lived in Saudi Arabia, I've lived in Africa, I've lived in Pakistan, and I'm not the woman that they think I should be, because it's stuck in their mind that I should be a woman, covered up and just look through, dark shades or dark curtains. So that is something I have to break through and describe to them. No, I'm just as what you see on the street. I'm a regular human being. Once I get through that, then I'm able to tell them who I am, and they really are so accepting and so warm that, it makes it a lot more easier for them once they know me as who I am and not from where I am or from what faith I belong to. I'll give you a brief example. I met somebody who was of Jehovah's Witness, and they were afraid to see me as a physician because they thought I wouldn't like them. And I gave them my example as a Muslim woman, because I fear that sometimes when one of these terrorist attacks takes place, when I tell people I'm a Muslim woman, I'm scared. What would they think of me? So, when I moved to the United States, coming back to the perception, there was a lovely couple living in my neighborhood in Washington, D.C. They both were retired from the CIA. So I did the things that I do. I'm sort of crazy with some things I do. I would mow my yard, and I would paint outside my house, and I would do all sorts of things. And my husband, who doesn't like to be handy, didn't do that. So one day, the husband came to our backyard and was passing a slip through the window to me. And it was a little note saying that if you feel that you're oppressed or distressed, let us know, we'll help you out. They did not know how crazy I was, because later on they were sympathizing more with my husband than with me. Now, women who wear the hijab, I don't wear the hijab, they do, and they have spiritual belief, and they actually do it out of their own conviction. No Muslim woman in the United States that I have known has been forced to wear the hijab. They do it out of their own free will. For them, it is a little bit harder, particularly in places like Iowa, because in Detroit or Washington, D.C. or California, it's not a big deal because there's so many of them. But in places like Iowa, they are looked down upon and they are frowned upon, even though they are the most good-hearted, kind people. I have a lady who wears the hijab who sometimes cooks free food for me and for others too. But she's a wonderful human being, but when she's looked at initially, the perception is different. I was then asked to talk about the opportunities in the United States. Opportunities are far and immense. You know, I would not have come to this country had it not been for the wonderful opportunities that were offered here. I had great comforts in Pakistan. My parents had given me that. But when I came here, I had the hunger and the desire for education and to excel. And that hunger and desire has been fed by so much opportunity in this country that every single day I wake up and thank God that I was allowed to come here and to get that opportunity. Women in this country have a very steep slope to get to be a CEO or to be a president, but it's not a ceiling that they cannot go through. They do that, and more women are becoming president and CEO. The slope is much, much more steeper in other countries, but yet it's achievable here. Now, if you look at some Muslim countries, there have been female prime ministers. Sarah Palin couldn't make it, but that's fine. We still look forward to having a female president in the United States. Maybe daughters of one of my friends will be them. But that does seem to be something that is wonderful for women, the opportunity we have. And again, you know, the Equal Opportunity Employment Act, these things have been wonderful to us. Lastly, the challenges. The challenges, and I will cover those in a minute, include from within our own community. We have a different way of thinking in people in our own community. The women at home versus the women who work. Some people want to cling to tradition, cling to their own thoughts. I have a friend who says, I hope my daughter or my son never marry a Caucasian woman. But they love to work with them. One of my most favorite aunts is a Scottish lady. So, you know, it's this thinking has to go away from within us. We have to accept everyone like we accept ourselves, or we want to be accepted by others here. The other and biggest challenge for me is my children, boys and girls both. Our daughters and our sons are living in a very difficult situation. They're described as coconuts. They are brown on the outside, but they think like white people on the inside. And my sons do that. You know, my son wanted to study abroad in the Middle East, and I did not let him go. He asked me if I trusted him. I said, I trust you, but I don't trust others, and I don't trust the suspicion that is eyeing you in this country. So if we can get away with that, if he can tell his children to do whatever they want without the fear and the suspicion and the fear of indoctrination, it would be a wonderful place for us. Thank you very much.